Welcome back!
Hey guys!
To the Figuring It Out podcast. We are on episode 21!
Episodio 21.
There we go.
I was really focused on getting the Spanish word for episode correct.
We didn't practice it.
Spanish captions provided by Dumb.
I am Dana.
I am Dominique.
And welcome back. And that random voice is... Who the fuck are you?
My name's Mike, and I'm going to be the random voice for today.
We can include him in the how you doing.
Yes, we can. We want to know how everyone's doing at the round square
So, Michael,
table.
how you doing?
I'm doing well.
How's your week been? Is anything new in your life? Anything exciting happening?
We're moving towards the dream. I woke up today with 2 legs and 2 arms, and I could see and I could speak and I can move and I can drive. So, like, you know, why not just be really happy and
So you're really
keep
killing
doing
it.
it? I'm not, but you know, I'm going to fake it
But
till
you're
I
alive.
make it. I'm just trying to be more grateful. How about that?
There you go.
Yeah. No, I'm alive. There you go.
Dominique, how you doing?
I'm pretty okay.
You okay?
I'm alright.
Anything new?
It's been cold.
It's been bitter.
I'd say I've been chilling, but it's more in like a sense of like how refrigerators preserve things.
Uh-huh.
I just feel real stagnant.
Yeah.
Negative
Pretty
60
style.
in Chicago today.
Negative 60?
I
Yeah.
think was something
Well,
like that.
feels like negative 60.
Yeah, like
it was like
literally.
actually negative like 5.
Who is like measuring how cold it
Wind chill.
feels? Is there a
includes-
calculation for this?
I
Is
mean,
it
yeah, I'm
like,
sure with meteorologists. It has something to do with wind chill, though.
They probably take the temperature stagnant and then have some measurement for the like mile per hour winds and how it would feel. I don't know. Maybe somebody stands out there and it's like, it says it's 5, but it's really feeling like negative 64. They're like, let's go with the negative
Let's go with
64.
it.
You
no
know
one's
what?
checking these things.
It's
Nobody
just
fact checks
cold as fuck.
meteorologists.
No way.
You just blew the cap off some serious shit, but we can't go into that.
We can't, or else before you know it, there will be
This
no more
podcast will be
podcasts.
off the air.
Over.
Investigate meteorology.
How was your week, Dana?
Oh, it was fine.
It was
I'm
fun?
adjusting to a new pattern. I'm adjusting to a new rhythm. Tinkering things in my personal life because I need change.
That's
Your girl
good.
is tired.
Your girl
That's-
is tired.
Change is good. Is this a self-imposed rhythm? Was life pushing a rhythm on you and now you're trying to push your rhythm onto life?
I wouldn't say life is pushing a rhythm. I would say I am tired of a living situation and I need to improve.
Oh, okay. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
You're taking your existing rhythm and you are modifying it
Yeah.
as need be.
I think you're improving it.
Yeah.
Improving
If
it.
you're finding something that doesn't work for you and you're making the change.
It's a work in progress. It's going to be a while, but I'm making a plan and trying to stick to it.
That's what you gotta do.
Plans are really
Yeah.
important.
They are. You can't just...
It was 2019 and I was like, whoa, that year just went by. And I didn't write anything down from that year.
Not a thing.
I don't know what my thoughts were from the year, but I know it moved really fast and
I
I
agree
didn't
with
get
that.
much done. And I feel like if you break it down to like at least, I don't know, every month, life moves really, really, really fast. It gets out of control really fast, and I'm trying to find out how to gain more control on life.
You should do like a monthly assessment.
I was
At
just
least.
going to say that a good thing to do to keep a hold on the fact that you are being progressive with yourself is writing down every month things that you know you've accomplished or things that you have felt proud of in that month.
I don't know what standard they used or if my percentages are completely off, but it was like 90% of like really highly achieving people write in a journal every day.
Every single day.
I did that for a time, and yeah, I don't know. It's really easy.
It's commitment.
It's really easy to
Fall
not
off.
do things.
Yeah.
Not doing things is incredibly easy.
Yeah.
It's about forming the habit, though. It's easy to do things you've always done. It's hard to implement new habits.
Yeah.
Because the brain fights itself
Agreed.
at the beginning.
Agreed.
Because you're used to your normal baseline, and then you're like trying to introduce something. Yeah, like you just said, exactly. Your brain does fight it.
Yeah. Like for me, right
Brain's
now,
sick.
I'm 19 days into yoga. And
Nice.
I've had to double up on days because there have just been days where I've been like, no, I'm depressed today. I need to just not and lay in my bed and eat a bunch of junk food and just be gross. And then the next day, I double up and I do like an ab workout and then I'm like, okay.
Yeah, there you have
We're
to
back on
fight
track.
back a little bit
Yeah.
because your brain's pushing you. Your brain's like, no, I don't want to do this new thing. This is foreign. This isn't, because the brain likes to like simplify things.
Of course.
Like it's like in our human nature to make things like as easy on ourselves as possible. So like the brain doesn't want you to go out of your way and use
Dana's
like this.
doing yoga stretches
She is.
My legs
in
are
front of
cramping.
everybody.
It's just like it's a subconscious thing. See, your brain's like, you know what, yoga. You're like a
Yeah.
fucking,
Your brain,
the Pavlov dog.
brain suck.
I've actually caught myself, like, in the morning right before I'm about to, like, start my yoga, because I do it with, like, a YouTube video, and, because there's, like, yoga instructors on YouTube, and it's great, amazing, I love it.
Shout out to Yoga by Adrian.
Yoga by Adrian, hey girl.
What's up, yogis?
But every morning, like, as it's starting, I, like, do stretches beforehand, and then it turned out to be stretches that I'm doing that day in the yoga, and it's just naturally what my body wanted to do. So it's like, it's very cool. It's like intuition almost. It's like, I should just like trust my body and like maybe let it lead a yoga practice for me.
The body wants to move.
Yeah, girl, this booty gotta move.
Yeah.
So that's something I've been thinking about a lot.
What?
Getting back to how we like used to move.
How did we used to move?
Well, we used to need to catch our own food. I don't think we organized that quickly. I think, at least for a time, we had to forage.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, in the theme of comfort and whatnot, and not trusting your brain is like 200, well, how old is our brain? Homo sapiens are like 200,000 years old, I think. So your brain is just made for comfort and survival. So you really shouldn't trust your brain at all. And like your emotions especially. Really gotta stop trusting my emotions personally. So what do you do on the gross days? Because you say the gross days where you want to just lay in bed all day. Do you ever, because I have those days all the time, do you ever proactively like force yourself out of bed? Have you?
Yes.
Okay. How does
If I'm having
How
a
does
gross
that go?
day, I need to at least shower.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a really good. Yeah, that's a good first step.
Yeah, and like, even if I put on the same exact clothes, at least I like cleaned my body
Yeah.
and like washed my hair and like washed my face, and I can go to bed, back to bed, feeling clean and like I did something.
You're refreshed.
And
You hit the reset button.
it also feels like I at least took care of myself a little bit today, even though I didn't want to.
Have you tried the yoga on those days?
Yeah, but there are just some days where it's just like too heavy, where
Yeah.
I cannot.
I feel you.
I can't. I'm just like, no. And like, I'll try to. I'll like get on the mat and I'm just like, no. I'd rather like be up there.
You'd rather be there. Yeah. But sometimes, yeah, nah, I get it. My whole point is I'm really trying to get out of the funk that I've been
Yeah.
in. And I think like almost tricking your brain into like feeling happier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like there might be something to that because of just the way the brain and neurons are like wired. And
I agree 100%.
after I work out, I feel like a natural high. And,
Yeah,
like, I feel happier.
yes.
So I don't know. I feel like there's something there.
I worked out today before work, and then ate an entirely like beautiful breakfast. I had an everything bagel with energy trail mix and some raspberries. Bitch, I felt so good all day, and like I wasn't hungry until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Because you ate nuts.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Nuts
seeds and nuts
Nuts are powerful.
and raisins and
That's what I'm
cranberries.
talking about.
Powerful
We
nuts.
gotta start doing things we used to do. You know what we used to eat?
Nuts and berries.
And probably some mushrooms too.
Probably some twigs.
Well, that's how the brain came to be. is
We
from.
can get down that route. We want to turn this
We
podcast
need
into
to
that
get to our actual questions because we are not on track at all.
Well, first thing
This
is
is free-form
first.
conversation.
I would.
We like structure here on figuring it out.
I'd like to formally introduce the disembodied voice that is joining us on episodio 21.
He's not just Michael.
He's not just any Michael. He's my favorite Michael.
He's your Michael.
He's my Michael.
Aww.
He's my boyfriend Michael. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Hello. I really brought the podcast off on trail there. So
No, that was
Okay.
a solid intro.
It's amazing.
that was just the intro. This is the entree.
This is
Shouts
the
out to
entree.
Chancellor.
This is the appetizer.
This is the
Technically,
appetizer.
this is the
This
appetizer.
is the
appetizer.
appetizer.
Because we're gonna ask you our last guest's question. So
Nice.
every episode that we have guests, we like to ask our guest to ask the future guest a question. So these are the questions from Jerry and Mike.
Sorry, not my favorite Mike.
Second favorite.
I got a couple of mics in my life, I'll be honest. Some
All
are
right.
family.
Mike, we'll come back to you. First question. What's your favorite movie?
What? Did I listen to the last podcast? Sure
Oh,
did.
shit.
Loved it.
He supports me.
To Mike and I forgot the other kid's name.
Tom and
Tom and Jerry. Guys, if you need an actor for your little short films, be happy to.
they're looking
I
right
think
now.
it was Mike was like not really trying to act and direct or just want to direct. So Mike, reach out to Mike. You can reach me on the mic line.
We'll have your mics get in touch with our mics.
Favorite movie?
Yeah.
So there's like two favorites, I feel like. There's some that have really motivated me or inspired me and affected me emotionally. And then there's just really like entertaining ones. Favorite entertaining movie would probably be The Exorcist because love horror, but I love horror that actually has a good storyline and whatnot. And especially for the 70s that like really messed with people. Like people weren't ready for that one, and that was the first of its kind. And Ozzy Osbourne was like passing by a theater and he saw The Exorcist playing. And he's like, well, if people like scary like movies, like scary music too, and that's kind of how heavy metal was made. So that's why I really like that movie. And then American Beauty. American Beauty is my other favorite movie because I always cry at the end with the speech.
I've never seen American Beauty.
Isn't America? It takes place at a college, right?
No.
Or is that something different?
I don't
No,
know.
I'm thinking of A Beautiful Mind.
I confuse American Beauty with American Psycho.
Those are two wildly
I
different
know.
movies.
Isn't that
I
a
do
Fall
love
Out Boy
American
album
Psycho.
now?
Yes.
American Psycho is one of my other favorite movies.
I've never seen it. I want
American
to.
Psycho?
No, I want to read the book and I want to watch the movie. I want
You
to
should. Christian Bale's
delve
weird.
in. Yeah, I'm into the weirdness.
Next question.
Next question
Second question from our guests.
from
This one is from the other Mike.
the other mic.
Stop.
Oh.
What is your favorite Yankee Candle scent?
I think it was like an apple pie. There was some version of apple pie.
Ooh, okay.
It was like American apple pie, I think it's called.
Love the American theme.
American?
Apple pies, huh? Lattice crust? You into that?
I like a good just flat, holes poked in it.
Just like a nice
Some-
teardrop, like this pie might have killed some people.
Yeah.
Kind of
Stereotypical.
style.
Yeah.
Interesting. Lattice takes more work, but
Does it taste better though?
I could play tic-tac-toe on my pie if I wanted. That's
And
all
you
that
get
counts.
pie crust kind of across the board.
What do you mean?
Lattice is when it's weaved over the
Yeah.
middle. Oh, but you're talking... Oh, see,
Like
I'm thinking of open-faced pies.
plaid?
I've only had open-faced pies.
Like
You-
pumpkin pie, pecan
Yeah,
pie.
yeah, exactly. Apple pie, even.
What?
No, most
Open-faced apple pie?
That's a sin.
That's
Unless it has
like-
I like crumble on top.
No,
yeah, it was
someone
crumble. That's what it
lying
was.
to
It was
you.
crumble on top.
Okay.
It was Auntie Lori, and you know my Aunt Lori.
I do. She quite the amazing cook.
God bless Aunt Lori.
She's a saint.
Saint Lori.
Saint Lori. So, we're going to kick this off with my question to you, which is going to be, would you consider yourself a leader or a follower, and why?
I think I've always been a leader, and I really enjoyed. for the most part, student government, I was like class president and all that stuff.
You made a speech, no?
I made a speech that got me kicked out of the running for class president, but again...
May I ask what the speech was about?
My mom loved it. I read it to her the night before. She thought it was great. But basically, I went to a really small school, and in one part of the speech, apparently I singled out my friend Danny, because Danny was known to smile all the time, regardless of the situation, and it was kind of a doopy smile. And so I just pointed out that we should all smile more, as Danny did. They didn't like that. But I think the cherry on top was my opening, in which I compared myself to Mao Zedong and Joseph Stalin. I was trying to get everybody's attention. I knew we were going to be in an auditorium. It was a school. It was like a class meeting. I said, Mao Zedong, Joseph Stalin, Michael Borges. What do these three men have in common? Not much. But they did have a plan. And that's how I started. Because Joseph Stalin had like a 5-year plan. And so did Mao. Mm-hmm. Those are both terrible human beings. I hope they rot forever. But again, gotta wake up the crowd. Gotta get it going. Get the people talking.
Gets an auditorium of hormonal teenagers going, quite like the mention of former dictators.
And socialism.
Take notes.
Takes notes because socialism is dangerous.
So off of that, I have a quick question. What did child you want to be as an adult?
I really wanted to be an astronaut.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's the second astronaut.
Exploring space is really incredible to me.
Yeah.
I think that's why I loved scuba diving. Shouts out to scuba.
That's it.
Scuba. Is this a person or just scuba diving and the nickname came
It stands for like self-circulating something apparatus. So shouts out to like the patent of like self-contained breathing apparatuses.
Okay.
So like
self-contained
scuba diving is like it's essentially being in space underwater.
Exactly. So that's my point. Yeah. No. Maybe I should go into the field of scuba. Maybe this podcast was me figuring it out in terms of my goal in life.
That's what we're here to do for you.
Thank you, guys.
You figured it out.
I figured it out.
There
Scuba.
You go.
Scuba is the answer.
Now we can just end the podcast.
Yeah, we figured it out.
See you later.
See ya.
Could you describe yourself at 18? And how does it compare to who you are today?
On probation. Not on probation with me. I was arrested at 18 for a little bit of weed, and that was a really horrific experience. And then was put on probation for like a year, and that just really hindered that whole time of my life. Mm-hmm. But you live and you learn, and you get your record expunged, and you move on. Cheers.
So how does that compare to who you are today?
Today, I'm not in the legal system of New Jersey. No, I think I've learned like a ton. Like that was a super real experience, and that kind of shakes you up and slaps you in your face.
Sobering.
Yeah, it just makes you look at shit differently and like assess the risk of things more. And I think I'm more mindful in general of what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. But I think 7 years will mature anybody. So.
Agreed.
You'd hope.
Especially at the age
you hope.
that we are.
Yeah, some people don't grow up. That's the scary part.
They just not do.
7 years, doesn't do anything to them. It's like, whoa.
I feel like once you hit whatever peak it is in your life, that it is. I mean, I'm sure you have multiple like highs and lows, but like the peak, I feel like that's the age that you are solidified in mentally.
What age?
It varies from person to person.
Oh.
I feel.
Yeah.
Just like what the most monumental thing possible could happen to you. I'm mainly thinking in like reference to like childhood stars who like made it real big when they were like 14 or 16.
Oh yeah.
And then they're just mentally stuck in that.
Well, yeah,
kind
that's
of
interesting.
mindset.
It's been proven that whatever age you get famous at, that's the mentality that you stay at for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Well, think about like being at that literal high.
Yeah, it's a solidifying moment of like, this is who I am now.
Yeah, but then that's even just like a reference point. like of how low you are too, then, you know, like with great highs come low lows sort of
course.
thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you do think about the top and the bottom. People should look more at the worst of things. Like, we look always at how much people have, but like, look how little some people have. And I think that kind of improves your perspective a lot.
I agree with
That's
that.
a little off tangent.
It's not.
Wisdom from Michael,
There you
episode
go.
21.
This episode's packed with wisdom.
Episode 21A.
Figuring out wisdom with Michael.
So then, would you say that there was ever certain words of wisdom or a conversation that you had throughout your life that really stuck with you and like that you carry with you to this day, that either molded you as the person you are or just keep in mind in the back of your mind when you're making important decisions?
Yeah, I think it's experiences stick with me a lot more in some ways. Like, words can be kind of fleeting at times.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like conglomerations of words. There's books that I keep in mind. I think there's definitely things my grandmother has said to me.
But you retain more so the overall message.
Yeah. I'll say my best friend. No, I'd say grandma. Yeah, saying the people that start slow, like she said in Sicilian, so it's hard to translate, but it's basically like you start slow, you end up like, don't worry about starting slow because you'll end up on top, versus like other people like, you know, are doing really, really great and you're not. Like, don't worry about that, like things take time, like
Exactly.
It's like the rabbit and the hare.
yeah, exactly. And then Rome wasn't built in a day. But if you really think about, and if you've ever, you know, I've been fortunate enough to go to like places like that, if you ever see what those people built and the magnitude of what they like did, yeah, that stuff, greatness doesn't come quick, and anything worthwhile isn't going to be easy. So
On the tangent of your favorite, or words that stick with you the most and things like that, what is your favorite memory from your childhood in 3 words? No questions asked if you don't want to explain.
fishing with Grandpa.
Aw,
That's
no
an
words
easy one.
needed.
That's an easy one.
There
Wow.
you go. Cute.
Oh, that paints a nice image. So then, would you say that you have a key life hack that you would want to share with our listeners? That you've accrued over your 25 years?
Can you clarify the question? Is this something that I've discovered that'll just tip for life?
A tip
Yeah,
for
something
life.
that makes easier day-to-day life. Anything that you've figured out through like hacks in shopping or like
Okay.
just being a human being.
Yeah. Honesty will never hurt.
There you go.
In the long run, especially.
Honesty is the best policy.
Exactly.
They'll never screw you over.
Sometimes it will. But that's only if the person you're dealing with is a petty little
Yeah,
RAT.
that's such a subjective
But
thing,
if
but
you
I think in
think-
general.
If the person
Agreed.
is petty enough, it'll come to a point where that part of them is revealed and their credibility is...
Exactly. That's what I'm
Right.
saying. Is like, it sometimes sucks to be honest to someone who you think is like your end all be all or like whatever it is, best friend, and then it turns out that like that honesty hurt them so much
Yeah.
that they're just like, nope, ow!
That
And they're just like,
was
nope, I'm
rough.
done. Like whatever.
Honesty hurts.
They
yeah.
hit their hand on
They
the
hit their hand on the table. Yeah,
And
no,
they-
and that's the thing. It's like, usually, and often, honesty will, like, screw you at
Yeah.
the beginning. But at the end,
You
it's
just
like,
have to trust it.
like
Yeah.
the truth will set you free kind of thing. Like, the truth will, for the most part, at least you know the truth of it, I
Yeah.
guess.
I never saw a point in lying. Like, why?
Yeah, I can understand lying for trying to protect somebody, you know. Like, tell kids about Santa and shit.
Yeah.
Being a small example.
I agree with that.
I believe in withholding the truth sometimes. Withholding our details of what happened. Like, sometimes somebody doesn't need to know everything that happened. Like, if you were
Yes.
cheated on, you don't really need to know everything that happened.
Unless
But-
they want to know.
Well, then, yeah, and then you get closure from, like, the
Yeah.
details. People get closure from
But, like,
details.
I think honesty is the best policy if questioned about it. Or, like,
Yeah.
like you can tell your truth of it, but if you're questioned about it, tell the rest of the truth.
Yeah.
man. I don't think human beings, like, for the most part, lying is just like, you carry that weight with you every single
that grabs
But to some people,
day.
it's nothing.
That's true too.
To some people, it's just a sip of water.
Some people are sociopaths.
Yeah,
no,
but like
literally.
to some people, lying is just like breathing. Like they don't know,
I guess just a lot of
or they
it,
don't
like,
care.
a lot of it, like, relates back to, like, the whole, like, nurture versus, like, nature argument. If people were raised in such a way where, like, lying was how they survived, yeah, I'm sure it's easy peasy.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Agreed.
a really good point, though. Some people like don't even. That doesn't even bother them. I guess they've done it enough. I hope. I never get. Some people are super numb, but anyway.
Very true. People are fucking scary, dude.
People are amazing too.
People are
That's the crazy part, is the extremes that people come in.
amazing, scary, and everything in between.
Well, I think, yeah, amazing
And
is
sideways
a
and
good word.
diagonally.
I think amazing has good connotations, but amazing just means,
Like,
an amazing catastrophe. Like, it was literally, it induces, like, awe.
kind
Yeah.
of like awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's not exactly, it does have good connotations, but it's just
that-
like,
It's not technically
it's something
an emotion. It's
you
a
are in
reaction.
awe of.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
There you go.
So, I have a question for you. This is a little bit deep. Growing up, how was your relationship with your parent or parents? And do you think it's improved or changed with your age?
I think it's always going to change. Change is the only constant with most things, especially when it's your parents and it's over a 20, 30 year
Of course.
thing. I think my mom is always going to be my mom. I think especially my family meets the Italian stereotype. If you podcast listeners want to get to know me, just watch The Sopranos. Watch Tony Soprano's Psychology, their therapist meetings, and that's basically a script for my childhood and details. I was guilted a lot growing up. That's a weapon that Italian mothers like to do and use. I've come to laugh at it more so. In general, I think I've always had a really great relationship with my mom. My mom and dad are separated. My dad moved back to Portugal when I was like 7 months old. So I got to be like a European baby, like traveling to see my dad and like live on the farm for a month in Portugal.
Hey man, perks of divorced parents, am I right?
Yeah, no, so I don't know, I kind of enjoyed, I got all the benefits of the dad without like maybe the fighting that might have gone on in my house had my parents stayed together. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was pretty sweet. Like I just used to go to Portugal and hang out on a farm, and like no one spoke English. It was cool. And I would just go
So
to
you're
like
just, chilling all day.
yeah, and just like go to lunches with like people that bred horses, like equestrian people, and like I don't know. It was a really cool experience.
Do you think that your relationship with your parents has improved with age and understanding?
My relationship with my father has improved, but we always had a good relationship because it was kind of distant, and it's a little easy to play nice when you're talking to somebody on the phone once a week,
Yeah.
and you see him
100%.
once a month. I'd say my mom and I relationship is kind of. I think she says it best. She loves me, but she doesn't like me. She doesn't like a lot of the choices I make and things I do.
But you're her son, so she'll love you
Yeah,
regardless
exactly.
and support you.
I think she was awesome at raising me. I think now I need to kind of jump the nest. I think she gave me like an amazing foundation. Like,
Yeah.
the best foundation ever, but now I gotta go kind of
Yeah.
do my own thing.
And she knows it's time to.
Yeah, and like she put her life into me and my brother. Like she never like even like dated, you know.
So she's just like
and
ready to like
so
be
she's
a woman.
well, no, she's like freaking out because we are like really like
Oh.
the most enjoyment
Like
she
her
gets
world.
out. Yeah, so, but she's getting accustomed to it. It's life, man. It changes and it moves on.
There you go.
Well, you came out great, so she did an amazing job. Amazing in the good connotation.
Can I ask one more in-depth question?
Yeah, sure.
Go for it.
What makes you lose faith in humanity?
Just seeing how unconscientious people are of one another. And then... Wow, that's a big one. I would say, like, just senseless killing and death and... Like, oftentimes the underbelly of, like, the drug world is a good example. Oh, I'll give you a good example. Child, like, sex trafficking, that 100% makes me lose faith in humanity.
Yeah, Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just, like, I wish if for any other reason we develop gene mutation and controlling people's genes, I hope you can isolate that shit and eradicate it.
And, like... The pedophilia gene.
Yeah, like just that whole thing. Yeah.
To go that
abusive
low
traits
and be able to just like be mentally okay with going.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's probably it is. It's a physical.
It also can
mutation.
Come back,
I think,
but also could come back to nurture versus nature.
Oh yeah.
If you're raised in a sexually abused environment, there's more likely that
that's a really good point. Yeah, that's extremely true.
To go down that route, along with like, if you are raised in an alcoholic environment or an addicted environment, you are more than likely to go down that route.
Everyone's realities are their own little bubbles.
Yeah, it takes self-awareness in that person to know that whatever I'm around is bad and I have to go the opposite.
It takes gaining of other perspective to know what else is out there. Like you have to be the opposite of like
what you hate.
Yeah, that's really tough. Yeah, that's very true though. There's a huge percentage that are suffered that, and then I guess that's what you know in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
on a lighter note.
That's real shit, man.
Let's flipping the switch. You rule the world. You are the ruler of the entire universe. Slightly. Because you can make one rule that everyone else has to follow. But only one. What's your rule?
I think everybody's forced to follow it.
Yes.
Everyone.
They cannot break the rule.
There will be...
Go with the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. If people had to actually follow that.
Yes.
Unless, like, people are, like, BDSM, like, into that. And want to be,
there's
like...
a loophole.
They're, like, pain-induced. Like... No, I think that's a good one. I think if people looked at, like, one another as... I don't know, just put yourself in each other's shoes. Like, there's a lot of those sayings, but like people don't actually do that.
No.
Because if you took the time to take that perspective, you'd probably look at the world differently.
And the world would be a greener
place. I don't do it
place.
either, so, like, I'm not preaching. I don't do that shit. I get angry on the parkway, too.
But that's not directly to someone. That's in the sanity of your own car. So that's like just
and it's like, don't stay in the left lane. What are you doing?
They can't hear you. You're fine.
You're in the
It's a loophole.
There's a loop.
The safety container on wheels for your emotional outbursts, not for really
being safe. No,
quite dangerous actually.
Speaking
we get statistics
of
on that.
Outbursts in cars. What is your go-to Alone in the Car song?
That would go to... Believe it. I don't even know what the artist name is. It's Q Lazarus. Goodbye Horses.
How does it go?
It's the song from Silence of the Lambs when he's dancing naked in front of the mirror. And he says the whole "Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me" line.
Iconic.
That song.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the rights to this song.
That was sung so poorly. I think
it'll be able to be identified. No, I don't know. I was right there in that movie for that good 7 seconds there. So I thank you.
Wow. I play that in the car for Dom. Those are the deep cuts. Late night drives.
The best.
Cross state.
The real vibes.
Had a lot of good late night drives.
And many of them.
Many late night drives.
Dom and I are going to see every state.
Every single one.
Yeah.
By 2021. Check back in. We'll let you know.
Ambitious. Love
Episode 400, I think we'll be around there.
Episode 400 of Figuring It Out. Have we figured it out yet?
No, we'll probably be at episode 170.
170? Did you just do that math?
Yeah, it's probably wrong because I'm not good at math.
I still appreciate the effort.
Who do you think we'll have on at that point? Bill Murray?
Jack Black.
Goal is to get
Jay and Silent
Bob on our podcast.
Okay.
That's the ultimate goal. After that, we really don't know where we're going.
They're
pretty good, though.
Doing a remake.
They are. So we might have a shot, bitch.
We might have. They might be doing some promotional thing.
You might have to transition the goal of this podcast to like a movie review thing to be able to fit it.
We are going to introduce that as solo episodes in the coming future.
We got plans.
Plans are being made.
We have reviews coming.
We are going to tell you our opinions about stuff and things.
Just wait. We're interviewing Michael right now. God.
Okay, so I'm just going to bring it back to more of a serious note. If you had to say how many penguins of superior intelligence, if they all got together, how many do you think it would take to successfully operate an 18-wheeler?
I think this is a joke.
I think this is a serious question that needs
18-wheeler inspired penguin-driven accidents happen in Alaska?
Because they're trying to figure out the answer, and I understand why, because it does haunt me.
I think it would be the same squad from the Madagascar movies.
Just the 4 of them?
4 of them, yeah.
There's like 4 or 5 of them.
Dude, it's only 4.
Pedal, 2 on the wheel.
They have done so many random schemes. I think that they could.
Penguins have a really good PR, because penguins are not. I don't want the ratings for this podcast to go down. I'm going to keep that comment to myself.
No, we need you to
hate on penguins.
No, we need the controversy. Give us the controversy.
I had a penguin visit my class when I was in the kindergarten.
Oh, he just walked up in there and was like, "Hey guys!"
In there.
Just because you had a bad experience with one penguin when you were in kindergarten doesn't mean all penguins are bad.
Did you ask him if he was having a bad day?
You know what?
Did you even for 1 second put yourself in his flippers?
Damn. What's the next question?
No, I need to know more about this penguin. You can't just give us a little...
He peed on me.
He peed on you?
He peed on me. And my mom made me go to a doctor and see if I could get any sort of radical diseases unknown to this part of the world, because it's an Arctic creature and like an amphibious bird.
An amphibious bird? It's a frog with wings.
I have a question for you. Musically speaking, if you could flip a switch and erase any musician from the planet and its music, which musician would it be and why?
I would never want to prevent people from doing that, like music, because I think it's one of the greatest things ever. I would probably say Yoko Ono. You should.
She makes music?
She would go on, get on stage with like the Beatles and just like shriek and shit, and it's like,
that's not her making music.
Alright, well, she shouldn't be allowed to do that.
That's her featuring herself.
Because she ruined like this one Beatles performance that was supposed to be awesome, but she was just screeching. Wasn't she? Yeah, she came on at Woodstock and like screeched for like 4 minutes.
And she was like,
I feel like this is not the first instance I've heard of Yoko Ono just screeching.
No, she's
just, that's the way she communicates. She
has songs out that are just her like shrieking.
That's her music. That's her art.
Can't hate on her. Okay, next question.
If you and your pet, side note for the listeners out there, he has a wonderful bird named Chinchi. Great guy or gal, we still don't know.
16 years.
16 years
Mysteries
later.
Continues.
He masturbates into his food dish, or she.
Kinky.
She could just be empowered.
It's a he. It's a he.
It's a he?
Yeah, he does do that.
If Chinchi could talk, do you think you'd get along?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Definitely. He thinks I'm, like, part of his flock.
Yeah?
Because they're very social birds.
Okay.
So, like, I'll, like, stand by him and eat. And, like, regardless of what I'm eating, he'll always, like, want to bite. Even if it's...
So you'd be bros.
Yeah, no, I assume he thinks I'm his dad. Something.
So you'd be dad bros.
Bros with my
You'd
son.
Father and son.
Yeah, he like sings to me. He knows when like I wake up in the morning if I'm walking down the hall or if like my mom is. So
He
yeah,
adores
I think
you.
Chinchi's a fan.
Do you have any idea what his personality would be like?
Well, I think like most communication is pretty nonverbal, so I feel like I have a good idea of what he's like. He's a pretty goofy son of a bitch.
He still has a personality, even
Through his body movements.
through his body movements.
He's like,
Yeah.
I mean, and they have a little mohawk thing that goes up to like express if they're like worried or like angry. Like
Aw.
it goes straight back and he'll like scream at me.
The eyebrows of the bird.
Yeah, a little bit like the
Yeah.
eyebrows of the bird. I think Chinchi would be pretty chill to drink with.
I think so too. I think you could really like kick back and crack a cold one with him.
What do you think about your cats?
My cats and their
Do you-
personalities?
Yeah, do you think you would get along with them
Holy
if they could
shit.
talk?
I think we would have wine nights like twice a week, but like I am their mother.
I don't
So you
think
couldn't
Once a
get
week.
too drunk with
Maybe
them.
once a week, half a glass, and that's
Saturday
it.
nights only.
really
But-
wishful thinking. Your cats would plot to murder you.
My cats would plot to murder me? No, we have a way better relationship than that.
I think your cats would quietly talk shit about you while you're in the bathroom, and then when you come out, they'd like be like, "Oh shit, mom's coming."
That's my biggest fear.
That's what my
Probably,
cats do.
it's probably what would happen.
That's what my cats
Absolutely
do.
right.
I see my cats and my dog sitting at the end of my hallway in like a triangle all the time, and then when I
Plotting.
walk down the
Plotting.
hallway, I'm like, am I interrupting something? And they all look at each other and run away.
That's awesome.
And I'm just like, I'm gonna die in my sleep.
I gotta
Master's
say,
headed this way.
we really don't deserve animals because
We
they're
don't.
so funny sometimes,
Animals
especially
are-
that bird.
They're so
Fucking
funny
amazing.
and they don't even know it.
No.
Those are usually the funniest beings.
People,
Do you think-
animals.
Do you think animals
Agreed.
can laugh? Like dogs can laugh or amused? I'm pretty sure I've heard a monkey screech.
Monkeys
in
can
laughter.
do whatever we can.
I
Or
feel like my dog
Dolphins definitely
tries to laugh, but it just comes out in like panting and like her
Just
wiggling
like-
really hard.
Or the tap taps or something.
Yeah.
You know the classic like dolphin noise?
I guess I would take
Yeah,
a kind of advanced like humor as a.
We're not doing it.
Can we? Just Google that episode of SpongeBob where they're cursing a bunch.
Yeah.
You'll know what we're talking about. I think their dolphins are in a constant state of laughing.
Is comedy
Or just like, oh god.
a part of like self-awareness? Like
Comedy?
Is that a ugh? Is that a like consequence of awareness?
It is because you
Because
have
we
to
could-
cope.
Yeah, that's. No, I wonder
What do you
if
mean?
we can only find things funny because of like how advanced we are. Like the absurdity of something is only relevant to us. Like a dog could never find something funny.
Because it wouldn't
It's
make
not
it. It wouldn't be like, oh,
Well, yeah.
it wouldn't make that
animals-
point in its brain.
Animals kind of just live in a cycle.
Like a dog would be like, "Oh, that's ironic."
No, it's thinking that makes things so. So we are able to observe something, put multiple meanings to it, and reach a conclusion. There's no input and output like that with most other beings that we know of. Who knows? Okay, so little surprise for you. Look alive.
Before we end the podcast,
Really
Oh.
quick. Really quick.
we have a couple more things for you to do, but we are putting you in charge of doing a 30-second rant about anything
Anything that really grinds your gears.
comes to your mind.
And you can't really think about it that much because I'm starting the timer now. Go!
Oh,
Stop running water if you're brushing your teeth or you're not using it, or your shower doesn't take that long to heat up. Like get in there. You don't.
He's into it. He's into it. Go,
I got
go,
so
go.
into this rant that
Go,
I just
you're still going, 70
approached the mic and I started.
Keep up with the
angry
flow of the
running.
water
So
running
anyway,
unnecessarily.
Yeah, we're pretty limited in that resource. So if you don't want World War III to be about water, don't run the water when you're not using it.
Yay! Anger!
and that was under 30 seconds.
You really summed it. He summed it up quite nicely, though.
did.
He
There you
said
go.
what had to be said.
You said you have something to rant about, and I knew exactly what I had to go after. That one's been on my chest for a while.
I really hope that was a cathartic experience for you.
Thank you.
Now, before we ask you our last question, we need you to ask us
And
our next guest a question.
please.
Not 2 separate questions, just 1 question for us and the guest.
You got 2 because we had 2 guests. Math.
I want something that everybody would be able to answer. So, kind of generic, not too generic. Do you think if humans could fly, we would treat it like walking and running, and it would be exercise, and nobody would do it?
No. I don't.
Dana says no.
It depends. It depends on whether or not this was like a thing that had to evolve over like a period
Say
of
we
time.
could fly as fast as you could walk or run, but it's like similarly exhausting. Unless you're like an ultra marathoner, ultra flying
If I had the choice,
man bird.
I think At this point in time, in this day and age, if it exerted the same amount of energy as walking or running, we probably would treat it that way. I feel like as humans, we would overcomplicate it too. So there would be some kind of like air traffic thing, and it would just be like, what? You can't make
You
a
can
fucking
only fly
loop to loop
in
in
these hours.
I don't know, like something ridiculous. We would just ruin it.
Or there would be like a specific place that people could fly.
We would definitely ruin it. That's all I could tell you.
Yeah.
We would find
People
a way
would
to
end up
ruin
taking pills to
flying.
not be able to fly.
People take pills to make themselves handicapped?
Yeah, it's called.
No, when
can't
when
think of a
people
good
are
joke.
supernatural, yeah.
Yeah, that shit. Well, I guess to sum it up, what do you think is the one thing that you want our listeners to take away from this episode of the podcast? What is your message that you want to spread?
It's pretty clear. Don't run the water.
We covered this.
Everything gets better, guys. Just keep at it. Keep your heads up. And I love you.
Aww.
Aw. Well, Michael, where can they find you on social media if you want them to find you on social media?
I am the one and only DJ.Eurotrash. DJ_Eurotrash.
On Twitter and Instagram, both?
I'm only on Instagram.
Instagram?
Maybe I should hop
Okay.
on the Twitter again.
Then find him on Instagram at DJ.Eurotrash. And Dominique, where can they find you?
If y'all are interested, you can find me at Dommy Darko. That is DOMMY_DARK and the number 0.
Oh, yeah.
And that's Instagram or Twitter, so take your pick.
And you can find me on Twitter at DanaRenee_ and on Instagram at DanaRenee__.
Working on it. She has a plot twist for you.
Figure it out,
I have
Dana.
an
Come on.
idea.
Ooh.
I'm gonna spice it up a little bit. And we will catch you next week with episode 22.
I don't know
And
about you.
a new guest. I'm feeling excited.
I'm feeling like Taylor Swift. Wonder what she's doing.
I wonder
know.
how she feels right now for you to say that.
We're gonna get sued. Goodbye, I love you.
Bye, sweet dreams. Good morning.